mean, if we start on time, I might be able to do the first and the last. Don't even worry about it. I'll just do the first. It's fine.
Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos, everyone. Cantor Schusterblad and I invite everyone to take a seat. Double check that our cell phones are on silent and muted and do not disturb. And we'll begin in our prayer book with Yedid Nefesh on page 12. Page 12. Good Shabbos. Let's turn to page 22 for Lechuna Ranana. Let's go sing. Page 24, 3 lines from the bottom, Yalo Sadai. Ay, ay, Page 26, bottom of the page, or Zarua. We plant the light in this world. Page 28. Middle of the page, Zamru Ladonai.
Zamru Ladonai, Bechino, Bechino, Bechol Zivra. Zamru Ladonai, Bechino, Bechino.
Page 30, bottom of the page, Romamu.
Romamu.
Page 34.
The sun is going down. It's shining through the trees. Another week's gone by, become a memory. So put away a hammer, there's nothing left to do. Come inside and find the gift that's waiting here for you. Oh, it's time to say good Shabbos, 'cause all your work is done. Gonna spend the day together with the Holy One. Make a special blessing on a cup that's filled with wine. Man and his creator It's a very special sign. Your candles will be burning, filling your homes with light, singing songs of Shabbos far into the night. So put away your hammer, there's nothing left to do. When you're home, you'll find the gift that's waiting there for you. Oh, it's time to say, 'cause all your work is done. Gonna spend the day together with the Holy One. Make a special blessing on a cup that's filled with wine. Man and his creator, it's a very special sign. Good Shabbos.
We'll pause now, remembering with reverence the art sites of our beloved departed observed until sundown this evening, 7th day of Adar. Lynn Agran, Max Kaplan, Esther Ephraim, Sylvia Feldman, William Feinglass, Reuben Goldberg, Sally Lessons, William Levins, Nancy Mamo, Herman Miller, Paul Norman, Dora Rabinowitz, Sidney Rosen, Phyllis Rosenstock, Sylvia Schlossberg, Samuel Salganic, Herbert Shapiro, Willard R. Smullian, Adolfo Spath, Sylvia Spivak, Jack Lester Stotsky, and Betty Soroski. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may their righteous memories continue to bring blessing into all of our lives, together saying to that, Amen.
Amen.
Solemn testimony to that unbroken chain of faith that does link us, Lador Vador, one generation to the next, those in mourning, those observing Yartzeit, if you'll please rise, Mourner's Kaddish, page 124. 124, Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei. Chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael v'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulalmei almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. La'ela minko birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nachemata damiran b'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mumav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
May be seated, turning back in our prayer books to page 38, L'chadodi.
L'chadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela shamor v'zakor b'dibur echad hishmianu el hamyukad Adonai echad u'shemo echad Adonai echad u'shemo echad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litrela l'chadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lekuven כי הוא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה מראש מקדם נסוכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במקשבת תקילה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה קומיצי מתוך כפיך רב לך שבט בעמק הבקע, רב לך שבט בעמק הבקע, רב לך שבט בעמק הבקע, והוא יקמול עלייך למעלה. בואי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לקראת דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוקמוני עם סגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לקראת דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת דודי לקראת כלה, לקראת דודי לקראת כלה, לקראת דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
And pausing at this time to extend condolences of the congregation to members of our community who have been bereaved during the past week. This week to the family of the late Marilyn Schneider Buckley. Bottom of page 41, joining together, traditional Friday evening greeting for mourners.
המקום ינקם אתכם בתוך שער אבלי ציון ירושלים.
May the Holy One who comforts Israel grant you solace in your bereavement. And if you'll please remain standing, we'll turn together to page 50 for the Baruch Hu.
Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
You may be seated. On page 51, we'll continue with responsive reading. Page 51.
O Lord, your word brings on the evening twilight, the heavens proclaim your glory.
And we, your creatures on earth, behold in wonder your endless miracles.
Help us to recognize your guiding power in distant galaxies and in our own souls.
Teach us your law of righteousness and love, so that your Spirit may govern our lives.
Source of peace, bless our worship. May our meditations find favor in your sight.
May our gratitude for your wonders lead us in love to your service.
So that, like the changing seasons, the days, the nights, our lives too will proclaim your glory.
Amen. ומעביר יום ומבילילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב על אביו. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי חיינו, בעורק ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Continuing page 56, 57.
והיה
And on page 57, just about the middle of that page, reading together. Therefore, keep these words of mine in your heart and in your soul. Bind them as a sign upon your arm. Let them be a reminder above your eyes. Teach them to your children, speaking of them when you are at home, when you are away, when you lie down at night, and when you rise up in the morning. Write them upon the doorposts of your homes, upon your gates. Thus your days and the days of your children will be multiplied on the land, which the Lord promised to your ancestors, for as long as the heavens remain over the earth. Shema's third paragraph, page 58, 59.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On page 60, just about the middle of that page.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל, לקחנו שירה ושמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדד בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ובניך, בוקע הים לפני משה, זה לינו ואמרו, זה לינו ואמרו. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
And turning to page 63, again continuing with responsive reading. Come up, you do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it together. Okay, do it together.
Yeah.
Help us, O God, to lie down in peace, but teach us that peace means more than quiet.
Remind us that if we are to be at peace at night, we must take heed how we live by day.
Grant us the peace that comes from honest dealing, so that no fear of discovery will haunt our sleep.
Rid us of resentments and hatreds which rob us of the peace we crave.
Liberate us from enslaving habits which disturb us and give us no rest.
May we inflict no pain, bring no shame, and seek no profit from another's loss.
May we so live that we can face the world with serenity and with grace.
May we feel no remorse at night for what we have done during the day.
May we lie down in peace tonight and awaken tomorrow to a richer and fuller life.
Amen.
Amen. Well done. Under pressure. Ushmor tzedkenu lechaim ulshalom. Chaim ulshalom. Be'ata ve'ad olam. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי. אחייקון וביומיקון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו Amen.
Evening Amidah for Shabbos begins on page 69, traditionally recited while standing and traditionally recited quietly. Take some time for quiet prayer.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון, לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם.
May be seated, continuing our service on page 80.
ויקולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויקל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו. כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אליון, עונה שמים וארץ. מגן אבות בדברו, מקיים מתים במאמרו. האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו. כי בם רצה להניח להם, כי בם רצה להניח להם, לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד, ננודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד בין הברקות. אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה לעמד ושני עונג, דקל למעשה, למעשה בראשית. יתגדל ויתקדש מן הבא, ועלמא דברה כדותי וימליק מלכותי, בחיי כל נבי כל נבקה את כל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברק, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפרע ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי לקודשה. ברכו לאל אמן כל ברכתה ושילתה, תושבחתה ונקמתה, דם ידן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלות הון ובת הון לכל ישראל, כאדם ובהון בשמיים ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום האדמה ושמיים וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו והוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen.
Turning to page 90, we'll rise for the Friday evening Kiddush, inviting those joining us via the broadcast of this evening's service at home to rise with us as well. Take up a libation of your choice on page 90.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav ahanu v'shabbat kodsho v'avahu ratzon hinilanu zuzikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tehillah lamitrayeh kodesh zeher l'tzihat mitzrayim kivan ve'otanu kidasha mikol ha'alim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'avahu ratzon inhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Reminiscent of your bat mitzvah.
Yeah.
May be seated.
I need like bigger ears to hold all of the things behind my ears. So Shabbat Shalom. Not too long ago, someone called my office and they wanted to talk about ideas. They basically were looking to give away money, which is always a nice call to get. And they wanted in particular to give to Jewish causes, and they wanted to know what organizations I thought were worthy of giving. And the first organization that I thought of immediately and still hold by is the Anti-Defamation League. I don't know, raise your hand if you're familiar with the Anti-Defamation League. So many people are. The Anti-Defamation League, their existence is to fight anti-Semitism, right? Hate against the Jewish people. And this past Monday and Tuesday, I had the opportunity to go to the Anti-Defamation League's conference in New York City at the Javits Center. And I will say that it was extraordinary. And so I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about some of my takeaways from that conference, because I felt like I really learned a lot about a lot of things. So I'm going to sort of start with the obvious, which many of you may have sort of seen this week, which is the end. I'm going to start at the end, which is on the last day at the plenary, there was David Schwimmer from Friends and Gal Gadot. So that was actually like a really fun and big deal. Yes, a little bit because of who they are in our Jewish world, but far more so because of the words that they shared from the podium. And Gal Gadot, absolutely exquisite, dressed in black with hair pulled back just so, stood up and said something along the lines of like, I am Gal, I am a mom, I am a wife, I am a daughter, I am a Jew, and I am Israeli. And then she said, let me say that again. And she did the whole thing really slowly and very intentionally. And then she said, I never in my life would have thought that it would have taken courage to say those things. She would then go on to talk about the importance of standing up in this moment of time for the Jewish people, for being proud Jews, even when that does take courage nowadays, and also for being lovers of Israel, even when that feels challenging with the world out there. So those two were really big speakers at the end. David Schwimmer spoke about the silence of Hollywood. And in particular, he mentioned the Oscars and how interesting and disappointing it was that his colleagues, especially Jewish ones, all of them, but especially the Jewish ones, have not spoken out about the captives, about what's happening, that they have remained pretty silent. And he felt particularly disappointed in Adrian Brody, that even though he had recently done a film about the Shoah, that he didn't use his very long acceptance speech to even mention any of sort of our Jewish history. So that was all sort of the interesting end plenary. But what was really interesting to me were the smaller sessions. So if you sort of imagine 5,000 people, but in a really nice hallway of the Javits Center, it was actually just coincidentally right next to the toy convention. And I went in the wrong door upon arrival, and I was like, where are all of the guards, right? As it turns out, toy conventions don't require guards. Jewish conventions do. So anyway, the sessions that I went to, and they were plentiful, I learned a bunch of different things, and I'm just going to share some of the highlights with you. The first thing that I learned is that the Anti-Defamation League has 7 researchers right now, 7 people that are on their staff fully devoted to doing research, and 67 academicians that are doing this work around the world. And what they're trying to see is like how some of the messaging that we're using in this like bigger global story of the Jewish people and Israel, how it lands and how it doesn't land. So here are some of the things that I thought were really interesting, and if you know more than me, then maybe you won't find it as interesting, but I actually thought it was. He said, or this group of panelists said, that one of the things that they found interviewing 250,000 people over recent days is that using the terms anti-Semitic or anti-Semitism or Zionism or anti-Zionism, they actually don't land. So what does that mean? It means that most people don't understand what you're talking about. And it definitely doesn't resonate with people in any way that generates positive emotions. Most people actually get really confused by both of those words and think they mean the opposite of what they actually mean. And so he says, like, try not to use those words. And when you do use those words, you actually need to sort of parenthetically say what they mean. You can't assume that people know it. And he also said, or they also said, and this is again based on 250,000 people that they surveyed, that to use them very sparingly. So, for example, and I think you might find this interesting, instead of saying like, wow, college administrator, what the teacher said in class felt really anti-Semitic to me. It doesn't do anything. But if you say, hello, college administrator, what my professor said in class made me feel really unsafe. Well, that changes hearts and minds. So it's a different language, right? So it's an interesting thing because the language that we use is what people connect with. So here's what else I learned, and these are more really interesting things from a different panel, is that nowadays, and by the way, you can cringe if you want because it is generational, but I'm going to do it anyway. Nowadays, oh, I'm cringing as I say it. Facts don't matter. Facts don't matter. People don't want experts anymore. They want influencers. They don't want people on top telling them what to think, what to believe. They want people from below teaching upward, and they don't want to be told data or anything of that sort. They want to be told stories. A personal story is the only thing now that changes minds and changes hearts. So again, no expert opinions, no facts. It's all about influencers and stories and personal stories. By the way, like this actually is really important for all of us as we try to go out there and change minds and hearts about what's happening to the Jewish people and also to Israel. Another thing that I learned, which was interesting, and I think you will find this interesting too, in the parties, right, the Democratic and Republican parties, 33% of Democrats are standing strong with Israel right now. Republicans are at 83%. Again, research. But what Jonathan Greenblatt, who runs the ADL, said is, please, Democrats, stay put. Meaning, don't jump your party to the other side because you feel like your party isn't standing strong with Israel. In fact, stay there and try to create change from the inside. It doesn't serve the Jewish people or Israel if everybody just jumps into a different party, because that's where it feels most comfortable. Another thing that was interesting to me, and this was from Archie Gottesman. Rafi, I'm looking at you for a minute. Yep. Who has those really big pink billboards on the highways? Wait, yeah, from Jubilong? No one's seen these? Okay, you guys have to get on the highway more. Okay, Sharon's seen them. Okay, they're amazing. They're these incredible billboards, and they say all kinds of like juicy, snarky, and real things that you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I want to take you home with me. So, for example, they say, I'm trying to think of some of my favorites. People who believe what they're saying don't need to wear masks. I wish I had some of my favorites. Things about, oh gosh, okay. Next time I'm going to give you a whole bunch of the billboards. I see Jeremy back there. I'll post them on our social media next week for you guys. But anyway, there's these really big social media posts, and the reason that she said that billboards are actually really important is that no one can control what channel or station anyone else is listening to or what podcast, but everybody has to drive by a billboard. And so she said that she's found that to be an effective way to get information across, even when you can't really control what's going into the minds and the hearts. She said what she wants to do is to let people stop and to think. And that's really sort of the main idea. Outside of that, I would say that that for the most part, I went to one session which had leaders from all over the world. It had a leader from Canada, the Jewish leadership, and these are sort of, if you think about BJC, that kind of leadership position. Someone from Canada, someone from Australia, someone from South Africa, and someone from England. And they were telling their stories of what's been happening in their Jewish communities there, and I will tell you that none of it was good. But it was very interesting what they've been up against and where they've managed to stand firm and how, again, they've changed hearts and minds. The person who was coming from London said things have been like very difficult there, as we all know, has been true in the EU. Canada said, of course, as we also know, that it's been a particularly surprising ride. South Africa said, as you also know, they could never have imagined what's been happening in South Africa, including, burning down synagogues and also really in major cities, really feeling vulnerable as Jews. And probably the most interesting to me was the woman her name was Wendy, who represented South Africa, the Jewish community there. And she said that as soon as October 7th happened, soon after, the South African government came to them as a Jewish community and met with them. And then as it would turn out, they would later use that against them. They would use that meeting to say that they had actually met with representatives of Israel when they filed their case in the ICC and at the Durban Convention, or in Durban. So what she said is that what she's taken to doing is a lot of things to make people feel what it feels to be marginalized, isolated, hated. And she said she's done everything from taking the bridge in South Africa and filling it with signs of those who are being held in captivity and red balloons. And then she said on the government steps, she put, because they couldn't understand that children were also victimized from October 7th and some being held in captivity. And so they put 53 little stuffed animals all over the steps with blue balloons, and that people really came to understand just from seeing sort of these signs. So again, it's sort of trying to creatively think about how to tell our story in such a way that people are paying attention. So everybody, I'm sure, has been following Columbia and Barnard's story, as well as the Anti-Defamation League, again, just came out with the second iteration of what's happening on college campuses. If you've got children or grandchildren that are on colleges, it's actually very interesting. You'll see that there was a lot of upward movement, but sadly in our backyard, there was some downward movement. University of Maryland, Baltimore, University of Maryland, College Park, both went down. And I believe that Towson stayed the same. So pay attention to what the ADL is doing. I would say if you haven't yet emailed them and gotten on their email list, I would say it's probably one of the most important ones you can get on. If you have funds that you're looking to give to a good cause, their research and development groups are doing incredible work, as are their teams, and they're really doing everything imaginable to fight the hate, which is also called anti-Semitism. So Shabbat Shalom. And please God, we'll see better days to come.
On page 118, Rising for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עצרנו כגויי הארץ, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונה. ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעלה, ושכינת עוזו בגבי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו ופסולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. We'll remember now with reverence the art sites of our beloved departed, observed sundown this evening till sundown tomorrow evening, 8th day of Adar. Lena Cohen, Bernard Sonny Davis, Annette Friedman, Rita Frock, Eva Granick, Sophie Hark, David Harris, Maurice Mayer, Ray Sokolow Rossin, Mary Seidel, Elliot C. Smith, Stanley Trivis, Barbara Wilder, and Mary Yankelo. Zecher Tzadik Livracha. May their righteous memories continue to bring blessing into all of our lives. Together saying to that,
Amen.
And in solemn testimony to that unbroken chain of faith, those who are in mourning, those observing Yartzeit, if you would please rise, Mourner's Kaddish, page 124. 124. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. V'agala v'zman kari v'imru Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam U'Lamei Almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal. Shemei dekudsha b'richu. Leila minkol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. V'amiran v'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. Chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Aseh shalom b'imrumav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May be seated. Schedule of services for the remainder of the weekend. Tomorrow morning, Shachrit services beginning at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow evening, actually I don't have the time here. Anyone happen to know the time tomorrow evening? What is it, Jeremy? It's 6? 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, Mincha Marab, Havdalah service. Shazi, you were that close. You're that close, right there. Also, 2 tech study opportunities tomorrow morning here in the building, working our way through 2 Kings in the Baum Boardroom, and also via Zoom online, the weekly Torah portion. So those both at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Sunday services in the morning at 9:15, Sunday evening 5:45. It is Purim this week, so Thursday night, Purim activities beginning. Canner Emily at? Okay, so kids' activities by, as if I could actually read this. So kids' activities, so that come and yes, people will be in costume. Come Thursday night, Disney, Wicked, all kinds of fun stuff going on. Should be great. And I have one last reminder note. Is
that right?
I don't know.
If you have an iPhone, you don't have to.
Yeah. It says daylight savings starts Sunday. Well, it's a Jewish crowd, you can tell. So Sunday, please wake up at 2 a.m. to change your clocks. If you would do that, I would greatly appreciate it. And concluding our service, singing together, page 16, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malakei Hasharet, Malakei Elyon, Malakei Elyon, V'melech Malkei Hamlakim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bokem LeShalom, Malkei HaShalom, Malkei Elyon, Malakei Elyon, V'melech Malkei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barkuni LeShalom, Malakei HaShalom, Malakei Elyon, Malakei Elyon, V'melech Malkei HaMlakim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedkem LeShalom, Malkei HaShalom, Malkei Elyon, Malakei Elyon, V'melech Malkei HaMlakim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbat Shalom.
There's like no information on this sheet. I know.
Just make
No
it up.
service times, there's no...
Really, that's weird.